You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
This makes my nipples hard.
Hey, thanks for joining us for the show today. Paul and I have decided to go back to adventure games. If there was an audience, everybody would be cheering right now, most likely. I got a few of the comments that we weren't doing adventure games. We're like, what the heck? This is where we go for adventure games. Everybody else is already not talking about adventure games. So we have an adventure-filled episode for you. We've selected a curated list of adventure games that are arranged by the type of journey. So there's all sorts of different journeys that we take, travel and exploration, and you'll have to find out what those topics are as we get into the episode, which fortunately is starting right now.
Yes, we decided to bring back adventure games and Anna's infamously long intros. I could tell you almost started listing everything off, and you're like, oh, I guess I should, bring them in. So,
it was tempting.
I'm so glad that we're done with non-adventure game stuff. I hated it.
It was so upsetting for Paul. I had to console him. No, it's okay. It's okay.
The whole time, yeah. I'm sure there's at least a few other listeners out there that relates to me as far as not liking other genres. And then when people label you as like a gamer, it's like, it's weird because it's like my life is very surrounded around playing games, but being called a gamer doesn't sit right because it's like it's not like that. It's not what they imagine. It's not at all what they imagine. It's a lot more reading than what they
or
think
as
it is.
James would say, your gaming looks like homework.
Right, exactly. A lot of cross-referencing and yeah, that's
drawing maps and taking notes and doing actual research, and like it's the next thing you know, you're in the library, you're reviewing the Dewey Decimal System, and you're looking through the little index cards, like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is by no means the COD headset. I don't even know how to that. So we'll just put that aside. Everybody's always mad. It's like Star Wars. It's like I missed Star Wars. I don't Star Wars. And why would I start now? Because everybody that Star Wars is hates Star Wars now. Like
right.
Nothing about it makes you want to be like, oh, I'm gonna get into Star Wars now of all times. And that's how like AAA gaming is. Like everybody's all mad about Assassin's whatever right now. And at no point is there ever like a game comes out and I'm like, yeah, I should get into whatever, because it just seems like it just upsets people all the time. So anyway.
Yeah, it makes them mad. They yell at the screen like, I don't know. It's a kind of energy I've never quite been able to formulate properly. Yeah,
exactly. I don't understand it. It's all panicky and okay. Back to our comfort zone here. This is peak comfort zone because not only are we doing adventure games, we are doing the most adventurous adventure games. Sorry, I got a little close to the mic there. I was excited. I'm doing like that hand thing where you make a karate chop on an open palm.
I can see that.
Super into it. The most adventurous adventure games. So we've broken it down into categories. We've got What a Day adventures. I've never said these out loud, so I regret that one off the bat. What a day. No, it doesn't sound right. I can't voice act that at all. But, What a Day Adventures is like, boy, what a day. Man, I still can't sell that. Was it? All right.
What a day. Boy, what a day.
Maybe let's picture plonking down in bed at the end of the day. What a day. Nope. Okay. Well, listen, I am not an actor, but that's the first category. The second category is road trip adventures. Road trip, man. Get your Slim Jims, your Funyuns. The third category, I guess that's an inherently stoner category, road trip. I'm not sure. You wouldn't think those two go together. Passport to Adventure is the third one. So it's the international adventures. You need your passport for them. And then we're gonna hit on To Infinity and Beyond Adventures. I wasn't happy with that one when I wrote it. Actually, I wasn't.
To Infinity and Beyond.
So corny. I'm so sorry. I justified it by saying, well, that movie came out in '94, so like it's been around a while. But I was looking for better. Anyway, that's your sci-fi category, and then lastly is fantasy adventures. So walking around in the forest with a sword adventures.
Yeah,
it's last for a reason.
Definitely. And then you gave me a big list of your picks, and I essentially picked one for each category and said, well, that's good enough for me because mine come with the big boxes, and we carry on.
Yes, exactly. So, all right, before we crack into it, a few little things we're going to touch on. Anna and I are going to be working on Return to Monkey Island. I didn't mean to say working on it. It's not like a burden like that makes it sound. I was really into it. As much of it we played with Daniel in the live stream, which is in the link in the thing below. But we're going to be doing Return to Monkey Island. We're also going to be doing a full streaming of the Phantom Fellows together. We haven't exactly fleshed out how we're going to incorporate that, but it's going to be video. We'll definitely let you guys know how to check on it. But we're going to be going through it like the essential playthrough of the game. Anna's going to play it. I'm going to do kind of a director's commentary sort of vibe, and that'll be fun. Also, we're going to put out a poll on Patreon here soon asking you guys, asking our Patreons to pick what game we should play next. I decided just now. Anna doesn't know this.
Right. That's a great idea. No, you know what? It's true because so many people I've talked to that are Patreoners have given me suggestions, and I've always kind of been like, I really want to do it, but how do I convince Paul? So now I don't have to.
Oh, shit. I just got a discreet message from Anna. She said, maybe turn down your volume. I can hear me a little bit when I get excited. Okay, I didn't have my beanie on. The beanie usually covers the earbuds, but good call. Okay, let's turn Anna down. Sorry, guys, if you could
I'm
hear
not
it.
used to being turned down, but I can cope.
So here's my thoughts to both the listener and Anna, who's literally hearing this for the first time. Going through a list of adventure games today, I had a familiar feeling. What feeling is that? Well, funny I should ask me. Because the feeling was, man, there's a lot of classic games that we still haven't played. And in this episode, we're going to be retreading ground we tread a lot. Which obviously, our listeners, you're down for it because you keep coming back. I mean, this is the ground that we tread. But, you know, I would really like to say, speaking personally, or speaking for myself, it would have been nice to be like, Broken Sword is on this list. Because from what I gather, that is a very adventurous adventure game that goes all around the globe and stuff like that. I don't know because I haven't played it, and I should know. I should know Broken Sword by now. And there's a bunch of games like that we both should play because they're like, you know, at the top of the pinnacle of adventure gameness. Even games like Longest Journey in Siberia, which are kind of like polygony, but still they're you know adventurous adventure games that we can't talk about because we haven't played them. So my thought is we'll put out a poll and we'll have the Patreons pick between 4 or 5 like classic adventure games that we both haven't played, so we can just start knocking these off the list, and then they get incorporated into future episodes like this one. We get to bring up, you know, they get added to our canon. How do you feel about that?
I think that feels great. What about Circle of Blood? That's one of my choices, and I picked it for today, but I haven't fully finished it. And when I played it was a really long time ago, so even that would be a good choice. That's Broken Sword, same game.
Same game, right? That was like the North American title, right? Because if you
There's
don't
that
like
in the
this idea,
European one.
we can edit it out.
No, no, don't. You know what? I think it's a great reason to have a poll. I love a good poll, and
Yes.
I'm willing to play just about any game. So you're the tricky one.
Yes, that's fair. That's why I think if
You
we
know
if
that.
we
I'm like, go in.
right, yeah, I don't want to call you easy, but
I'm a little easy.
yeah, she's a little easy. But I think if the patrons tell us what to do, I have to listen. So that's almost a nice way of taking it out of my hands, especially if they vote on like a polygon-looking game where it's like, fine, I'll play the thing. So anyway,
No, it's a good idea. And the show wouldn't be happening without the Patreoners. It's you guys that are really making the show possible. So we really appreciate it. And, you know, it'd be nice to get some choice, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly. Involve them a little more. So okay, those are my things I wanted to get out of the way. So we're working on Monkey Island. We're gonna do a Phantom Fellow stream, and we're gonna do a poll for that. And also a quick thank you too to people who have been leaving reviews for Phantom Fellows. Thank you very much. And I usually request you guys to leave a review, and I still would like that. But more than anything, if you haven't played the Phantom Fellows, I would love for you to just play the Phantom Fellows because it's my whole heart and soul in that thing. And I really think that if you put up with me in this medium, then you will also possibly put up with me as known as Oliver.
Well put.
All the same. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna start with what a day. What a day. Nope.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day.
See, that's where I can hear me. I get all excited.
Okay, that's okay. We need you in stereo for those moments.
Oh, good.
Okay, I've spoken a lot, so you say words, and I'll do some active listening.
Okay, well, I agree with a couple of your picks. I actually have 2 of them in my little stack here. 3 of them in my stack, actually, because one of them wasn't in my what a day category, but I'll take that. Okay, then I will talk about the one you don't have, which is, there we go, Less Manly Lost in LA. And that is a one a day because someone kidnapped the hippest stars in all of Hollywood. Huh? You gotta like spend the whole day solving that. Beautiful women exploring a town, unraveling a mystery, and all of that in 256 VGA color pixels. So.
Yeah, that's nice. I shouldn't have whistled. Editing me is gonna hate me for having just whistled then. We should
I'm
explain.
looking at the big box for that though. Here, wait, you explain.
Okay, we should explain real quick. So what I do, this is gonna be a lot of whats. What I meant by what a day is these are adventures that take place in a day. I mean, okay, it doesn't sound like it needed explaining now that I've explained it, but it was a little abstract until we brought, defined meaning to it. So these are adventures that take place over one crazy day.
Yep, exactly. You're not going to bed. It's not based over 7 days like the Phantom Fellows, but you end up getting hit with Madonna in a digitized video where you like create a music video for her game.
Okay.
Like all of this happens over the course of a day in a beautiful town, which is very, very much in the style of Freddie Farkas. Like, I know it's like they say it's low budget Leisure Suit Larry, but the art is quite nice. And there's also like the video, it's kind of like Freddie Farkas mixed with FMV scenes.
Right. Yeah, well put. It does look like that, but in my head it looks like that.
With hot women obviously, but it's not like everybody's like, oh, sexy games, there's so much nudity. It's like, dude, no, there really isn't. Even in the Larry games, like in the Larry games you can find it, but you have to hunt for it. It's not handing it to you on a silver platter.
Whenever I think nudity in a Larry game, all my brain does to me is make me see Larry, the undershot of Larry's ball sack in the shower. Like,
That's a great cut though, isn't it?
My
like,
brain's
Jesus.
a dick though. Like there's so many nice things it could show me, and instead it's like, hey, how about this bottom, top down, top upwards? I don't know what perspective that is. Look at this ball sack is what my brain says, and I'm like, wow. Please stop. Please get rid of that image. But anyway, sorry. Less Manly, Lost in LA.
And the final note is you get to design a digitized love doll called LaFonda Turner.
Nice. Wow.
So if that's not a reason to go play this beautiful, glorious game, I don't know what is. And I have the big box for this, but I don't have the big box for Search for the King. So if anybody has one sitting around, let me know.
Does this game, because you played this like 3 years ago-ish, didn't you?
No, I played it when it first came out, like essentially.
And that's it. Wasn't there an episode of our show without me about Less Manly?
Yeah, there was. In Search for the King's the one I've played the most of. But yes, we did an episode. I think Rick and I did. Yeah.
Okay. So that would have been the one you played more recently. Okay, well, you could answer for both games. Does it hold up okay for an adventure game?
Not. I mean, yeah, as long as you use a walkthrough. The moon logic's pretty bad. Like in the Less Manly game, you have to take somebody's thought and then use it as an inventory item, like his dream while he's sleeping. It's, got that weird stuff going on. But now, like, looking back on it, like, it's worth playing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, the next game.
I get distracted by sexy games too. I get it.
The next, I poked myself in the eye. I didn't want to admit it, but that's what happened back there. That's why I got stuttered. I went in for an eye rub. I got greedy, and I did some minor retina damage there. But anyway, the next What a Day adventure is Willy Beamish, because that's one crazy day. I think it's one day. It might actually, now that I'm thinking about it, he definitely goes to bed pretty early in the game. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Removing from the list, never mind. He does. He goes to bed several times in the game. So that's off the list. Forget it. I got plenty of fodder here, so we'll just get rid of that. Police Quest 2, though, that's a What a Day adventure, because you go from fighting crime to stopping, a terrorist attack on an airplane, all concluding with, having some ice cream with your purple-haired lieutenant at the end of the game. I think that's one.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I think so.
So, and if you haven't played it, play the Japanese version only. Do not, absolutely under any circumstance, play any version other than the Japanese one. And if you can't find it, write us.
Well, we'll find a way to hook you up.
Yarr.
Yeah, that's good. It's more of a, I don't know, it feels like it happens in a wild day. And what do you have? You have like kidnappings, you have bomb threats, and there's a shootout, race against time. Like, it's a whole thing.
We are being so us right now, because neither of us are 100% confident that it's actually one day, and we're like, fuck it, let's send it. We're just going to send it and sell it like it is. And the 3 listeners out there who know that it's not are like, unbelievable, you guys. Like, really?
This is supposed to be your thing, you guys.
Look, it might be in one day. And if it is, then that's why it's on this category. All right, next. What's next?
What's next is we were going to do a quick talk about Thimbleweed Park.
Yes, because that is definitely one day. Yeah, that's one night. Show up for the investigation. It's a long night. It's a really long night.
Really long night. But I don't recall going to sleep in that game. It was kind of one bit of the adventure after another after another. Right,
and because of the ending, then that makes sense, right? Why it would have been a long night. You know what I mean? If you're in the, you know what I mean? If it's right, then why totally then the sun doesn't have to come up because it's a it's a thing.
Yeah, what does it matter?
Right.
It's during one session.
It's one. Yeah. So, but anyway, narratively speaking, it's in one long night. That I'm sure of.
And it starts off super easy, and then it ends up in like conspiracies and shit.
It's just the best game. I love this game so much, and I just had to bring it up again. But it does take place in one night, and it's a hell of an adventure. The end. So, okay, you talk about the next one because the next one's like your thing.
It's full throttle.
Oh, that's not.
I have the box.
That wasn't.
No, it wasn't the one. Oh, no. Toonstruck?
Yeah,
I have that box
well,
too.
yeah, because I didn't want you to think I don't know you. Like you'd be like, yeah, I guess that Full Throttle's my thing. Thanks, Paul. Like if you've been listening to me for all these, Toonstruck. That's more your.
That is my thing. Yes, Toonstruck is a great game. It's set over an adventure, but in one day. But it goes and it flips halfway through. So it's like you've got a good adventure and then an evil adventure.
Right.
And it was on 2 CDs. That's how big this game was. It was a pretty big game. You've got Tim Curry. You've got Homer from TV's Homer Simpson. Oh, TV's Homer Simpson. Sorry. I'm so looking at the back of the box right now. You've got Dom DeLuise. You've got, I'll just read it now. Gold-throated artists featured in Aladdin, Animaniacs, and more. Babs Bunny's in there. That's not written on the back of the box, but I know she's there. 43,000 frames of animation, you guys. 75 locations. Live action video. Like, I don't know what more I can read off the back of the box because I ran out of words.
Man, yeah, that was a lot of words read off the back of a box. Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
For everyone.
I got the good box. I don't have the Psycho Clown box. I have the good one that has the Christopher Lloyd on the electric chair and the Psycho Clown is electrocuting him box.
I got the calm one and I regret it. I wish I just got the other one. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I just made fun of your collection. Like,
no, I deserved it. Mm-hmm. I remember we did an episode on this game.
Yeah.
And I remember liking that episode, so you guys should maybe check it out or whatever. But we talked a little bit about how this game tanked. I mean, it kind of tanked everywhere, but it particularly underperformed and tanked in Europe. And I remember us talking about how the clown box probably has a lot to do with it. because it's bonkers. It's an insane choice that they made to go with that clown box art cover for Europe, because it doesn't represent the game at all. I mean, yeah, like technically you can see the clown in the game, right? I'm pretty sure at some point the clown's in the game, but still, it doesn't represent like the spirit of the game, and it's terrifying. It doesn't sell the family friendly. Look, whatever. I digress. The point is, I don't know what the point is, but the new point is that Toonstruck is like the shining example for the what a day adventure, because it literally ends like, you know, at the end of a long crazy day where Lloyd's like, I gotta get up and go frantically do something with this Christopher Lloyd energy. So.
And I was just doing some research. It looks like Full Throttle is sort of set over a couple of day time period, but it has the pacing of a one-day adventure.
Okay, all right, scrap that too. It was never even on the list, folks. Don't listen to her. She's crazy.
She's crazy. She's crazy.
Maniac Mansion. I don't think we need to go into that. That's, you know, the original Thimbleweed Park. we could Trojan horse that one in underneath the Thimbleweed Park umbrella. But that's a crazy night. A bunch of wacky stuff happens, and as the sun rises, you find yourself, you know, done with the adventure. But it's a nice little encapsulated adventure.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, you got one more. You might as well put it in there.
Okay, I got 2 more. Do you have any more for this category though?
I have one in each category. I'm just playing off of yours now.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Okay, I don't know if this one works either. Is Freddy Farkas in one day?
Probably.
Like, I feel like it's not.
I mean, it would seem like.
But here it is on the list that I made. Right? I don't know me from 7 hours ago, what I was thinking, but I guess I felt at the time.
It technically takes place over multiple days. Each one is, yes,
okay,
a few days, stitched together, kind of.
Okay, forget it. It's not on the list anymore. Okay, my real last one is Dagger von Monra. Yeah.
Ah, okay,
yeah,
good one.
Thank you. Very exciting. I love this game. And takes place, obviously, just in one night at the museum. And that's all you need to know.
It's more like, you could call it like What a Night. That's it. Instead of like What a Day adventure, it's a What a Night adventure.
Yes, yeah, I think half of these were What a Night too, weren't they? Most of them were, right. Because even Toonstruck, isn't he sleeping during that adventure? Because he wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, he sleeps. It's all during the night too.
Right, so wow, so they all are, well, except for Police Quest 2, but Thimbleweed, Toonstruck, Maniac, and Dagger were all What a Night. Crazy. Wow. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we're moving on, folks. This is Road Trip Adventures. Yeah, you go
Which
first.
is where I had Full Throttle in Road Trip Adventures.
Oh, cool. Okay, we can repurpose it. Yay. Because it's still an adventure. Just because it takes its time doesn't mean. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But there's motorcycle races, and you get to ride around, and you get to have fights, and there's even like multiple fights in this well-ordered scene where you have to fight very specific bikers in very specific orders. So it is definitely, it's road trippy, and it's a forced road trip because he loses most of his team, and then he has to go chase them down, but he has his motorcycle the whole time. So it's not like family road trip. This ain't no like Chevy Chase adventure though.
Did we ever do an episode on Full Throttle? I think we did.
No, because I was waiting for you to play it.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe to replay. I played this when Strum was like 4, so maybe I wanted to replay it. That's fair. That sounds like me, because I wouldn't have remembered it.
So, Paul.
Yeah. Okay. We should do a Full Throttle episode sometime.
We should.
Are you sure
I like
we
that
have
idea.
it?
I don't think we have. We've never talked about it.
Well, guys, let us know in the comments below if we did an episode on this. I think you feel like they would know. They might know better than us at this point. I can't believe we didn't. It sounds like low-hanging fruit next time we're desperate for an episode.
It does, because it's a quick game.
Yeah, exactly. And like we both already know it like pretty good. I would just like kind of breeze through it. Okay. Well, whatever. Okay, next road trip adventure. Obviously, the first thing I think that comes to mind when you think of an adventure game, taking a road trip, is Gold Rush.
Right.
Yes.
Logical.
Absolutely.
Very logical.
Absolutely.
And I mean, they're not all on the road, but it's definitely road. Like it's a literal. It's like a journey across the whole country.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a legit road trip. I mean, just because they've significantly less horsepower than the average car, but I imagine 6 oxen is probably somewhere around 20 horsepower. That was convoluted. I'm sorry. At some point, I committed to seeing that through. But the point is, this is Anna's doing too, because one short I was asking us for a picture of a bus in a Sierra game. Which some of you might have saw on the Classic Gamers Guild Facebook page that Anna posted looking for one. And if you didn't, and this is the first time you're hearing of it, and you know of a bus in a Sierra game, it's too late now for the purpose of One Short Eyes video, but please let us know, because it's wild that there is not a single instance of a bus in a Sierra game. Nothing. Okay.
Trolleys. Lots of trolleys.
Yeah, you got your trolleys and Manhunter and Volkswagen, microbus that does not count. There is a SWAT bus in one of the SWAT games, but it's like I don't even know. It's not an it's not an adventure game. Anna's messaging me in the oh no, guys, she just said I can still hear me. That's not good.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be discreet, but.
Okay, crap. I took my beanie off again. That's what happened. I swear the beanie really covers the earbuds and locks it in. Okay, all right. What are we going to do, gang? Let's turn her down more. Okay. So if you know of a bus in a Sierra game, not you, SWAT, is what I'm trying to say. SWAT doesn't count. It's barely a Sierra game, much less an adventure game. But yeah, there's no buses. We had a crack team of experts on the case. I thought there was one in Willie Beamish, but he skateboards home, and I don't think there's any other bus in the game. I thought there was one in Leisure Suit Larry. I could swear there was a double-decker bus in Leisure Suit Larry 5 or 6, but I guess there's not. I don't know. I didn't try to find it. But anyway, why am I saying all this? Oh, yeah, because Anna, in a jokey response, put the Gold Rush oxen things.
Which was, I think, Ronald Dragstad. It was somebody in the guild that put it in there. He posted it. And then I shared it because it was just too perfect.
Because it's Gold Rush. Well, thank you both. Thank you, Ronald and Anna. And then that inspired this, because I'm like, it is a road trip. It's not their fault cars weren't. You don't need a car to have a road trip, do you?
No, not at all.
I think you need more than legs, more than human legs. And
so you can you can go by land, you can go by sea, you can go by, the Panama.
Well.
And they're all road trips in their own way.
Right. Now, the pedantic nerd in me is like, well, the ocean isn't a road, so I don't know how that works. But we do have Leisure Suit Larry 7 to contest with in a minute here. Point is, Gold Rush.
How else are you going to get to Cape Horn?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. To answer you literally, I don't know. Well,
yeah, you're searching. It's a lot. There's a lot behind this game. It's a very adventurous road trippy journey.
Yes, and I urge all of our listeners who haven't played it to join Brian Manown and play it because we peer pressured you into playing it. Please. Be like Brian. So yeah, Gold Rush is a road trip. It really does beg a fun question. What makes a road trip? Like, I don't think you can walk across the country and call that a road trip. I feel like...
No.
So in other
words...
words...
Covered wagons and paddle boats and diseases. It's just, it's the same. It's like and that's exactly, you're uprooting your whole life. You're braving the unknown, and you're pressing forward against all the odds, and that's a road trip.
For some reason, I don't feel like you can walk across the country, but if oxen are doing the walking, it now counts again. That's why earlier I was like human legs, because
it's like okay. Oregon Trail is a road trip,
right? Oh,
through,
you know what?
Through
like
wheels. The 1850s Americans. Dusty dreams, but it's still a road trip.
Exactly. Dysentery, dying of shitting yourself to death, which is crazy that was a thing. I mean, I guess it kind of still is in a way, but anyway, that's a sadder topic.
Dehydration is one of the #1 causes for hospital check-ins, especially for older people. So have a glass of water, friends.
Have an entire, this is funny, this is literally what Anna and I were talking about before we got on the air. I was lecturing her how she needs to drink an entire 24 ounces of water when she wakes up. And goddamn it, you should too, listeners. I'm serious about this. Nobody's drinking enough water. Yes, it's difficult as an adult because bladder management becomes a huge problem anywhere you try to go
true.
when you're properly
You guys have
hydrated.
no idea how many times we pause these episodes for each of us to pee. It's ridiculous.
Wild. But man, are we hydrated? That pee is crystal clear.
It is. You can't even. Did somebody pee in there? No. That's why I didn't flush the toilet. Carry on.
But for real, when you wake up, drink a whole thing of water, preferably alkalinized, and man, your body is it's gonna bloody thank you. You'll see. You'll all see. Okay, man, but this is way off topic. So Gold Rush.
So next on the
oxen, what's
list,
a
we've
road
got
trip?
Sam and Max hit the road, which it's in the literal title. You're gonna jump in your, I don't know, what did they drive, a DeSoto or something? You jump in it and you hit
Old
the
Cadillac
highways.
vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for a missing Bigfoot, and there's a carnival freak show, and you have to go all over. Like, it even has a map, and you're literally going to like places where there's tourist destinations, right? The largest ball of twine, or Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. It's so quintessential road trip that if the subversion of saying Gold Rush earlier hit anybody, then it hit those who were expecting me to say Sam and Max hit the road the most. Because it's like, how could you say anything but Sam and Max? It's literally about roadside attractions and like, you know, the driving mechanic. You open the map and click across America. It's the quintessential road trip game and super fun. And fun fact, I spray painted a gigantic fluorescent Max on my wall this weekend.
Can't wait to see that.
Dude, it's so cool. So happy with it.
Oh my God, that's so cool. But the whole game is like a parody of road culture. I mean, because it was put out in a game where road trip movies were quite the hit, and there's like, you know, conspiracy theories and all that stuff, and it's kind of fun poke at what road trips represent in pop culture, especially in that time. And I think that's a lot of what I like about that game.
Same. We should, because we're trying to do more for our Patreons. I should post the pictures of the spray paint stuff for the Patreons.
Good idea. Do you guys want to see it?
Yeah,
oh, it's so cool.
You want to see it, guys?
I bet it's going to be. I haven't seen what he's talking about, but from what I've seen, I'm stoked. I'm already a Patreoner. I was going to say I'd join Patreon so I could see it, but I'm already one of you. I pay for Patreon.
Now I feel bad for the for the not, sorry about the phone buzz there, guys. That was as professional as it comes from our end. Okay. I feel bad for the non-Patreoners, so maybe what we'll do is we'll post the pictures of them on our Twitter, except for Max. Mm-hmm. Only the Patreon people get to see the Max painting, because I did a bunch of giant. Don't take anything of what I'm saying literally. We'll probably just post this on Patreon if we remember it all. But that being said, I did a bunch of giant, like, you know, logos, iconography of adventure game stuff on this room, in this room downstairs that I'm turning into this cool blacklight room with 90s roller rink carpet.
The room is entirely painted black.
Yes.
And the carpet. Oh my God! Tell them about the carpet.
Yeah. We got like this like 90s bowling alley roller rink carpet going in that glows in the dark, and yeah, just black lights everywhere. And then I got like the Sierra logo. I've got Oliver and Engelbert. I've got Purple Tentacle, the Adventurous cap for Graham's hat. Just a bunch of. I even have the LucasArts guy on there. Yeah, just a bunch of, and they're all in like fluorescent spray paint colors. So when the black lights go on, they come to life, and man, it's super cool. And then I've got 1,100 neon stars that I have to glow in the dark stars that I have to stick to the ceiling this week.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, it is your fault. It is.
I know.
Yes, it is. Man. Yeah.
He's like, should I paint the ceiling black? I'm like, hell yeah. If you're in, you're all in. You just got to put some stars and shit. Bring you some depth into the room. He's like, great idea. And now he's just like, that was the stupidest idea.
Dude, you can't unhear it because it is a great idea. I just wish I never knew it.
So yeah, anyways, it's a whole vibe. Sam and Max is a whole vibe. You're solving a mystery. It's got like this weird roadside energy, kind of like, but it's the best road trip ever vibe going. And this game totally got that vibe.
Yeah, that was a lot of vibes, but I think it was okay.
Vibe. I'm vibing today. It's that kind of a day. There's been a lot of vibing.
It is the ultimate road trip game. If you haven't played it, then you should, because it's super fun. Last one. If you don't want to, you can do the last one that Paul's about to tell you. Yeah, if you don't want, look, you don't have to. You could just look at my spray painting picture instead and be like, wow, that looks like that rabbit from that game.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, the last one is Leisure Suit Larry 7 because this is like the seafaring equivalent to a road trip. It's a road trip on water.
It's in spirit. It's a road trip in spirit.
Yeah.
On the PMS Bouncy. That's the name of the boat.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Really, I'm glad we got your laugh on record there. That little little kind of George W. laugh you gave after that.
But it works because you know what? You're on a boat and you're essentially going between different scenes in it. So
Yeah, I don't remember it. I just felt like it was what I said it was, and I put it on the list blindly. Did I hit the nail at all on the head? Is it kind of road trippy? Don't you go like from thing to thing across the ocean?
well, I said it's I guess by literal sense a road trip would mean on a road, but
Here
this
we
is
go.
definitely an adventure and a trip. So like it's 2 out of the 3 words.
Right. That is by our podcast standards, that's plenty.
Yeah,
It's actually
I would
one
say
over
it's good.
requirement.
We only needed 1 word to get greened up. Now we need all 3. Yeah, no, we don't. Okay, we're good. Yes, that
Cool.
was it.
I feel okay about most of this so far. Phew. Okay, I'm gonna breathe. We're breathing. Now we're on to Passport to Adventure. Where's my Pringles can? Damn it, I don't have it. I used it on the Geek video the other day and I didn't put it back. Oh, backup Pringles can. Passport to Adventure. I do have a backup Pringles can.
And your first, that's actually pretty impressive that you have a backup Pringles can.
Yeah, because you never
but the
know
first,
when you're going to need a Pringles can on a podcast, but your main Pringles can will have been left in the other room due to a cameo on an Adventure Game Geek video. You never know when that's going to happen.
that's true.
Okay, all right, sorry. Passport to Adventure. What do you got?
I was going to say, like, your first choices are pretty clearly, like, the first, like, I'm going to put this out to people that are listening. You're like, what is the most adventurous adventure games? And you're probably going to say Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Yes, 100%.
Like, all of you are going to say that because you're
better.
you're on a world tour, man. You're like in Monte Carlo, you're in Crete, you're in, what is it?
I believe it's pronounced Clit, but I'm not sure.
You go to New York, you go to Atlantis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a road trip.
It is
even
the
though
most
you don't
adventurous
always
adventure game.
drive. But yeah, oh yeah, right. We've moved on to adventure. You get to punch Nazis. How much more adventurous adventure?
Yeah, real Nazis
possibly-
too, like the
yeah.
actual Nazis, not those
Yeah, and-
everybody you don't like in society Nazis. As the words turned into.
And you get to, I mean, the whole thing is life and death decisions and exotic locations and like fictional kind of situations with real world.
I love fictional
I don't know,
situations.
archaeology. I like it. I think it's a very, very, very adventurous-y adventure game. It's like, I don't know. It's like the most flagship title of adventurous adventure games out there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it wins this episode. I just decided it is the winner of this episode. It is the most adventurous adventure game. If anybody has a legit challenge for the most adventurous adventure game, I bet it would be Broken Sword, even though I haven't played it. Look, I read the
do
description
have
earlier
that.
and I was like, man,
That's-
this sounds really adventurous.
Did I put it in that one? Which one did I put it in? Toonstruck? I didn't write it down. Yes, I have it in my adventurous adventure game, Circle of Blood. See, hear that? That's the box.
I believe her.
Holding it.
I believe her, B. I don't know why. I think that's the box for it, though.
It is.
It sounded like a double-sided jewel case. Crown jewel.
It's actually, you know what's fun is it's still sealed on the inside. So the game, all it has is the game disc and a trip on this disc, demo disc that has Beavis and Butthead, Circle of Blood, Siberia 2 Dogs. It's got like 50 games on this damn thing. It's awesome. But they're both still sealed. So I haven't cracked them yet.
There's no need to at this point. You can actually get that game digitally nowadays.
Funny that you can also enter to win a trip to Paris, which is very adventurous.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, more Indiana Jones. You had another Indiana Jones game on this list.
As a matter of fact, I had the other Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The other adventure game, Indiana Jones. We're all aware of the other ones. I don't have an Xbox, or I might have even tried the latest one. which is weird because it didn't have a very strong tail end. I'm not really hearing like anything about that past. I guess that came out before Christmas, huh? It's been a while. Anyway, it was first person, so I didn't. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It didn't look by an Xbox good.
No, I wasn't. I heard enough about it. That was good enough.
Or maybe it's on
in
Steam.
this,
Doesn't matter. I'm not playing it. The point is,
might be.
right? I think it is. I think it's just not on PlayStation. But the point is that the two Indiana Jones point and click games are crazy adventurous, and Last Crusade is almost every bit as adventurous as Fate of Atlantis. It's just not,
Berlin.
It's not an original story. Like, we know it as the movie first. I think that's why I'm discrediting it. I'm not discrediting. I'm yielding it to Fate of Atlantis.
It feels like it's authentically cinematic. It's like it's an adventure on a global stage, but you're actually playing the movie. And if you watched the movie, it's actually going to help you play the game. Like, it is so spot on that it's like a recreation of a movie in a game.
Yeah. Boy, I'm super lucky. I would say in my top 3 movies of all time, comedies aside, because Ace Ventura 2 is obviously number 1. Fate of Atlantis. Sorry, it's not a movie. It should have been. It absolutely should have been. It's such a. Okay, forget it. Sorry. But Last Crusade and Blade Runner are in my top 3 movies of all time, and they both got a point-and-click adventure game. That's cool. I'm just stopping to be grateful for a second. Like, my favorite genre of video game, they got barely any licensed IPs. As a matter of fact, I think all the other licensed IP adventure games were garbage. That's not true. Beavis and Butthead is good, but there's like Beverly Hillbillies and Bill and Ted and Wayne's World. Like, a lot of them were garbage. So just to think like of the very few good licensed point-and-click adventure games that we got, 2 of my favorite movies got one. That's really cool. Now we just need
that is lucky.
An Inglourious Basterds one, and we'd have the whole top 3 there. Okay. Next one is all the Monkey Islands.
Right, which makes sense. I mean, we just talked about them. If you want to know why, listen to our previous couple of episodes. Exactly,
because nothing says adventure like walking across an island over and over again.
Well, pirates, danger, romance, nonsense.
Yeah, it's got it all, exactly. But it does. It has that. I don't know. I guess Passport is maybe a little bit. I didn't know where to put Monkey Island because it's so good at being an adventure game that it kind of fits into all of these categories, except for the space one and the in a single day one and the road trip one and the fantasy. It would fit. Yeah, it would fit in fantasy. Okay, fine. It fits in 2 of the categories, and this is one of them. The end. Okay, what's the next one?
Do you know what does fit into the category of adventures? How about the whole Quest for Glory series? Because they are adventure all the way through, from Spielberg to Shapir to Tarna to Mordavia to Silmaria. I missed Rassier. That's that's in the second one. From Ha to Za, I mean, you start from nobody and you adventure into becoming a somebody. And then by the 4th game, you're a nobody again. And then by the end of the 5th game, you're not only a somebody, but the fate of the world rests on your shoulders, and you get married, and you get the girl.
Right.
That's adventure. Like, and every place you go totally feels alive. Each one has its own cool, like, architecture and clothing, music, food, weather systems, monsters. Like, there is a passport to adventure there, I'll tell you what.
I like the marriage thing. So you get to get married and consummate the marriage. So,
Yeah. All of those things. Anyways, that's in there. That's definitely my most adventure.
Well, you really contained yourself. You kept that to a pretty tight minute there. Well done.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
I mean, look at how long you gave Indy. I'm behaving myself.
Yeah, you really are. Okay. Are you sure you're done? It doesn't feel right to move on so quickly from Quest for Glory. I'm not used to this.
It is adventure. It's a part RPG. It's like a hybrid. Get in there, play the series. If you haven't yet, eventually you're going to watch Paul play the series, because after we're done playing Phantom Fellows, of course he wants to do a playthrough of Quest for Glory with me.
So
right?
badly. Mm-hmm.
I know. I know. And we're not even going to do the VGA. We're going to do the EGA with the parser.
That I'm excited for. I like that part.
Yes.
Yeah. The
It's
VGA
gonna be
one's
beautiful.
not
You're
fun
gonna
to
be
look at. It's, yeah.
You're gonna dither the hell out of it. It's gonna be great.
Would-
You'll be like dithering all over the place.
Yes, I'm excited about that. Now I'm actually even more excited about it because it sounds, gross and fun.
Exactly. All the funnest things are pretty gross.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slippery.
So
or
okay,
sticky.
we've got one
Okay.
more.
All right, sorry.
One
that
more
wasn't-
on this, the Adventures, and that would be essentially 2 games in one, right? They're both adventure. You can probably put them together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I put Gabriel Knight 2. I also put that it could also be a road trip because you do drive around a lot in that game, but I guess it's not really like this episode should have been us defining what a road trip is. That's what I'm interested in. That's the conversation I want to have
That's the
today.
nuance.
Right. Because really, I would almost think of a road trip as like an A to B, not like you just drive a lot. That's more like it's not a road trip. Just because you go to different locations via car doesn't make it a road trip, right? It's like you have to be traversing a large chunk of space or something. I don't know. Anyway, Gabriel Knight 2, it doesn't matter if it could be road trip. It's not in the road trip category. It's in the Passport to Adventure category.
Well, hang on. I want to respond to what you're saying for a second here. Like, I think, like, you're tapping into the idea of a spirit of a road trip.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, there's freedom and there's discovery and there's multiple stops and there's going from place to place. The journey is always a part of the story. So your kind of question is it going from A to B enough, or does it actually have to involve a car? And after talking about it, I think like you need to have, even Larry 7, you need to have big movement, you need to have self-discovery, it needs to be unpredictable, and you need to go places that you weren't before. And I think in the essence and the idea of a road trip, that's enough to make it a road trip. I think screw the words and screw being pedantic. It's really, congratulations, you're on a road trip and you're going someplace, and maybe you're being transformed and maybe you're being traumatized, but you're going somewhere and things are happening.
Okay, I like that a lot. I guess, okay, here, let me throw one thing out and tell me what you think of this. Something about circling, returning to places you've already been, I feel like that kills the vibe a little. Like
Right.
Like
Road
maybe-
trip is new and adventure.
Right,
You haven't
right.
seen even time travel. Take Day of the Tentacle. Even time travel is a road trip because it's adventure, it's self-discovery, and it's going places. Under my umbrella, I would consider it a road trip.
Right. You're moving forward and uncovering new experiences.
Right. But you can't, a road trip like, oh, let's go on a road trip, but you've already been there before. I think it takes out some of the elements of the excitement because there's not as much discovery and new adventures. But I don't know that it doesn't make it a road trip. Like if I take my crew and I drive up island where we've driven before and we're like, road trip up island, and I get there in one day, that's not a road trip though. I think a road trip needs to encompass multiple days probably. And like longer periods of time a little. Like a road trip isn't a 4-hour drive.
I agree to that, definitely. I think it could be a day, but you'd have to be on the road for like a good 9-11 hours.
Yeah, that's fair. Road trip, let's all go. Like that would be all the way up to the tip of the island. That would be a road trip. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so I guess we're saying is that the spirit of a road trip is like you don't tread over old ground. Right, you're going forward into new territories. So in the bringing this back to the Gabriel Knight 2, just because you're driving like long distances throughout Germany, for example, you're not necessarily, you're like going, I don't know. Because what if you don't go back? Then it could be a road trip because you really, you drive into like, okay, it doesn't matter. Look,
I don't think you need to go back to be a road trip. I think you just need to go somewhere.
Like going back doesn't ruin it from being a road trip. Because
Not at
then
all.
even Sam and Max, you have to go back to old locations. That's just an adventure game thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. I feel better. That conversation isn't over yet. So Gabriel Knight 2 is a passport to adventure because Grace travels from New Orleans to Germany? That seems really flimsy.
You have historical and geographical exploration, really. You're going through German towns, you're going through like castles and stuff. You've got, I think, I don't know, and then you're like, there's like lore and mythology, and I think it fits.
Thank you.
I
You
think
jumped right
you're
in there and
traveling.
started steel manning. I appreciate that. Would Gabriel Knight 1 have been a better choice because you go to Germany? Like,
Well,
see, in
the
Gabriel Knight
others
2,
like
Grace goes to Germany and you get to play Grace, but it doesn't feel as travel-y as in Gabriel Knight 1, where you, the main protagonist the whole game, then leaves the country.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you get like I don't know. You're going to different places, aren't they all like in New Orleans anyway though?
Until Germany. Ow, sorry. That was one
Right.
of those ows that doesn't hurt thing. I think we talked about this one episode. Anyway,
Yeah, we did.
yeah. Well, because you go to the castle, like halfway through ish, 2/3 of the way through Gabriel Knight, you go to Germany. So that sounds like more of a technicality, doesn't it? Well, technically, you go to Germany for like a scene in the game. So now it's an internet. It's not just a scene though. You are there for a little bit. I don't think either of these really fit here.
Well, I mean, you go from New Orleans to Germany in the first one. I think don't you go to like Africa or something? I don't know.
No, I think you're just picking up on the voodoo vibes.
That must be it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you do travel around Germany.
Because the voodoo shop guy is African.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's for sure is that it doesn't matter
No.
where these are on our fictional list. So. But they're adventurous.
So.
And that's 1 out of 3. So we're good.
So the next one is To Infinity and Beyond, as regretted by Paul,
Yeah,
Adventures. And now I'm curious why you've picked a couple of Space Quest games, but you've picked certain ones. Why?
Right. I picked 3, 4, and 6. And it pains me to leave out 5 because I love 5. It's probably my favorite. That and 3. But 1 and 2 are more... I don't know. I think 3, 4, and 6 feel they're all adventurous. I think kind of obviously, but 3, 4, and 6 like you really feel like you're traversing. It's not land, it's space, huh? You're going to lots of different locations, for lack of eloquence, in 3, 4, and 6. Like 4 really gives you that like you can freely explore like this whole alien world, and then you go to different worlds, and then you go through like a mall, and then back to the other world, and blah blah blah. 6, to its credit, like you go to a lot of different locations in Space Quest 6.
Yeah, you do. And you're up in space. You're up in the. You even go inside a person, right?
Right, inside a person, inside a computer.
Yeah.
The information superhighway. So yeah, these 3 Space Quests give me more of an adventurous, wide open world thing. Like 1 and 2. I mean, 2 you just go to the one planet, and like yeah, that's I mean that is enough. But this is a super highly nerdy list, so it's not enough for the list. Same thing with 1. Like 1 and 2, you just kind of go to the one location. I guess that's not true for 1. Yeah, I don't have the greatest reasons, I guess, behind this. They just feel more adventure-y than the others.
Well, they're more conceptually expansive.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, you're kind of like you're owning your own ship. You're free to travel. You're not as boxed in as you are in the earlier games. And then you're heading into time travel. And then in the 6th one, there's like it's different because you're traveling in completely different ways you never would have experienced possible. After you think you're stuck in like one tiny small city at the beginning, but like the first 2 are they're smaller. They're simpler spaces. There's like it's event based. You're reacting to events instead of going off on an adventure. Right.
And the reason I left 5 off of the list, which might be the standout at this point, is because it feels like more. And it feels just a little more linear than 3, 4, and 6. Like 5 is like you're in the school and you get your ship, and yes, you stop off at another planet or 2, but like I don't know, it just doesn't feel as like expansive as a world within 5.
No, it's true. It's got like a semi-linear narrative, kind of like I don't know. It's not. It doesn't have the same vibe. It's more of, in some ways, it's kind of like it's more Star Trek-y.
In other words, if any of this makes sense to you guys, let us know. Because we're more just like going on this vague, undefined feeling. Like 5 just doesn't feel... In other words, if anybody listening could articulate this better, if you happen to, 1, I agree, and then 2 could articulate it in a way that we are failing to, I would love to hear it, because there's just something underneath it as far as why.
I think Roger's just more untethered. I think there's just more freedom in the ones that you've chosen.
And like
I will back your choices.
Thank you. And it's not a negative too. Like I like 5 a lot more than 4. For example, so it's not like a knock on 5. Like I love 5. It's arguably the best one. But like, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to the what's the next spacey one?
Oh, right. So The Dig. We did an episode about that recently.
That's right.
And
yeah.
that is extremely spacey because you're going out there to check out this like asteroid, and then all of a sudden the thing is, it's not an asteroid, it's like a ship, and it takes you off and you go to some crazy planet, and I don't know, I'm reading the book now too. Of course, I've been reading it very very slowly after a while, and it's much similar to the game. But yeah, it's very much, it's out lost in space. It's like a sci-fi adventure. It's like something you'd see in a Spielberg movie, which makes sense because Spielberg's the one that came up with the idea. But you're super far from home. You don't have a lot of resources, and it's emotional, right? You're dealing with a lot of emotions until things happen and you're not dealing with any emotions at all.
Yes, it's not just in space and an adventure game, so we were putting it on the list. It really invokes the feeling of like the frontier of discovery. Like you really feel like along with the characters. It's why I love The Dig so much, because it makes it always. I think the soundtrack deserves a lot of credit too for this. It invokes this sense of discovery when you're playing the game. Like it really makes you feel like you're discovering this alien planet. You're discovering these ancient technologies and things like that. Like it just has this really cool sense of discovery to it.
It does. It's kind of like if Space Quest is like you're laughing in the face of space and infinity in the world, and then in The Dig you're listening to that. You're like, this is infinity, this is the world, what can we learn from it? So it's like they're two opposite games in so many ways, but they're both about space and exploration in a different way.
Yeah, very different way. Yeah, since Hollywood seems out of ideas, they should dive into some old adventure games. Like a lot of people running the show right now are people our age, and I imagine a lot of them grew up, not a lot of them, that's generous, but it doesn't seem like too big of a stretch to be like, there's got to be somebody out there in a high enough position to be like, hey, let's do a Dig movie, because they are out of ideas. Clearly, they're just rehashing old stuff over and over again. And it would be really cool to see a Dig movie, or any game that we've mentioned right now would make a great movie, especially Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Sorry.
Yeah, no, please do.
Next is Zach McCracken, which could also be a road trip one. I wanted to put this in road trip actually, but I mean it fits them both perfectly in a sense. But we were wanting for a third one here in the space category, because Zach McCracken really is almost like an intergalactic road trip.
It is eventually. I mean, he goes all over like the States, and then he travels all over the world, and then eventually doesn't he go to like a planet?
Right, exactly. And you use like a car to get to the planet, so it gives you that road trip vibe. But now I'm just remembering you actually use a plane to get around the okay, doesn't matter. Anyway, Zach McCracken is a fun game with a walkthrough, is my takeaway on that. It's a really fun game with a walkthrough.
It would be. It's kind of, I just wanted to categorize it. You could almost make it a hybrid of road trip and passport to adventure, but then you get into the alien stuff. It's like a triple combo.
Right, good call. Yeah, it can kind of fit. It can fit in a lot of places. You would think that it was a beloved game.
You would think so. And I mean, you would even think, because I mean, it plays around with like ancient mysticism and ancient alien technology and stuff that, I'd figure you'd be super interested in.
It is. I really like Zach McCracken. I played it with a walkthrough. I never gave it a chance without one, and maybe I should have. So I can't even say like it's got a bunch of bullshit puzzles in it, which I think I've heard, but I don't really know. I played it once, I used a walkthrough, and I had a really good time with it. So I'm guessing, I guess that leads me to just assume that a lot of the problems with the game, especially like on immediate reception, like the reason why it doesn't have, let's say, long withstanding fans, right? Like its lack of long withstanding fans indicates that there was a problem when it came out, and that problem was usually bullshit puzzles.
Couldn't you switch characters later in that game?
I don't remember doing so, but I don't know. I played it like 6, 7 years ago now.
I can't remember if it was one of the ones. I thought I remembered that you could switch characters, but
I remember there is a puzzle, maybe. If so, it would have
maybe
just
on
been
the
at the
alien
end.
planet. It was
Right.
like later in the game.
There's something to do
With
with
the
the puzzle on the alien planet at the end that was really hard, even with the walkthrough. And it,
It was with those chicks. I mean,
right,
ladies
right.
on Mars. I can't remember though.
I remember it being kind of annoying. You had to sync something up with them or something. But anyway, I had fun with it. With
I don't know.
walkthrough.
Like, it's a walkthrough game. I think it gets a lot of its bad cred from people actually trying to play it.
Right.
I can't finish Maniac Mansion without a walkthrough either. But it's
Really?
definitely worth playing Maniac Mansion. I'm not that. I never figured it out.
Okay.
All my characters kept getting kidnapped. I've actually never finished Maniac Mansion completely on my own.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm not saying that
Or
looking
with a
down at you.
walkthrough.
It sounds like it. Oh wow. Okay, that sounds like it, but it's not. You've beaten King's Quest without walkthroughs. You are definitely. I yield to you when it comes to that. But and I think that's why I'm saying it like that, because I didn't find Maniac Mansion to be
I couldn't
above
ever
somebody
I
that's
have
beat a King's Quest.
all of the other. I think it's the character switching, and then they keep getting caught.
Right.
And then I didn't put the time into it. By the way, this is not the last one in this category, in case you think it is.
Oh, I did. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is one more.
We spent a weird amount of time on Zack McCracken, so let's go to yours.
Okay. So mine is Starship Titanic, which wouldn't be on your list because I don't believe that you've played it. But it's a 1998 game, and it's very British. It's like I'm just grabbing the big box here. It's a very bureaucratic game. But you end up and you spend the whole game up in space. You're literally at the beginning of the game sitting there at home, and the Starship Titanic smashes into your house. And it's supposed to be, as per the Titanic, like the most luxurious ship in the whole galaxy. But funny enough, it's like super messed up. So, the elevators are talk. There's a parrot voiced by one of the guys from Monty Python.
Okay. There's the British stuff coming in. I get it.
It's very, very like you're the outsider, and it's this whole like alien AI run world. It's kind of like, if you're thinking about The Dig, it's a very weird self-contained environment, and it's got all these very specific rules and social systems, and you can type because it's parser and mouse, so you can actually play the game as a parser game. So you're there is to figure out how this whole world works, and then how you can possibly fix it. But you're totally in isolation. Like, you have no team, you have nobody around you. You've got a parrot, you've got a robot. The characters aren't necessarily really there to help you. So it's kind of like, this whole game is what can I call it? The cosmic joke of the world. It's like it's like playing the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy text game, and everybody's stuck trying to figure out how the hell to make the elevator work, but in space.
I would love a Hitchhiker's Guide graphic adventure. That would have been cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, the closest you have, if you go to the BBC website, they've drawn primitive style line graphics for the whole game as you play through it.
Cool.
It's free. It's just available on their site.
That's cool, like the idea of it, but I'm sure it's not enough.
So the last thing I want to say is I'm just reading a little bit about the text parser system. They actually called it Spooky Talk. So it gives you a way to navigate talking to the game characters and things. But I love that it had the name Spooky Talk with like an I in the middle. That's absolutely adorable.
Right. I get it. Okay. You had to really explain it to me. But okay.
We're good. We're in. So we have one more now group of games to talk about, and when you hear what the topic is and you hear what our first choices are, you're probably going to nod your head and go, "Yep."
Yeah. Right. It's fantasy adventures, the fantasy realm of adventures. You got your sorcery and your witchcraft and your swords and your wooden tables and the forest, a lot of forest. And I picked King's Quest V. What would you pick as the most adventure-y feeling King's Quest game?
I agree with you on 5 and 6 for both of the reasons you've chosen them, I think.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what reasons you've picked particularly, but 5, you have to walk across the desert and all the whimsical creatures that you meet. It's a little more adventure even than I would say the fourth one. Now, I love the fourth King's Quest game, but you're literally you have to travel into places. Where else do you have to go? Ancient ruins, right? You've got talking animals.
Yeah,
It's very much fantasy. What else is in there? There's witches. Well, there's wizards and things in the other one too. I mean, that's fair. But it is just something about 5 and especially 6. 6 is so damn whimsical. And in 5 there's talking ants and yetis. It just seems more so than the fourth one.
definitely more than the fourth. The fourth is quite contained, I think, is what curbs that sense of grand adventure in the fourth one, just because it's quite contained to that one little area. But yeah, it's interesting too, because it seems like the more locations doesn't necessarily mean more adventurous to me. There's one thing I'm realizing as we're going through this episode. Like, just because you go to more locations doesn't... Okay, let's frame it this way. Because I think this is the closest contender we're going to have. What would you face off against Fate of Atlantis for the most adventurous adventure game? King's Quest V or King's Quest VI?
Probably 5.
Because I feel like one of these two is a good contender for Fate of Atlantis. It's like Fate of Atlantis probably still wins, but it's a decent... It would be a decent fight. Wouldn't be a first round knockout, because I think King's Quest V and 6 both have a pretty darn adventurous vibe to them. I can almost hear people thinking that it's 6, but I don't know why I don't agree.
Well, I mean,
something about the fairy tale storybook thing makes it seem less adventure-y to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's more whimsical and less adventure. I know, because in my head I'm like, but he goes into the maze and he battles a minotaur. But have you seen that minotaur? Like, come on, man. I don't know. And the first 3 games are kind of in King's Quest are just like loosely connected fairy tale moments. They're sweet, but they're little tiny episodes, and like there's more emotion and there's more fairy tale puzzles and things. But King's Quest 4 doesn't take it quite to that depth of fantasy. Yeah. I think and you've got like in King's Quest 5 and 6, both the worlds are fully realized. They have a culture and they have rules, and there's like magical logic, whether you're in a desert town or Mordak's Island or in the land of the Green Isles. It has, the guidebook would show you there's more of a lore behind it. They're more like layered and interconnected. It gets a bit more complicated.
I like the way you said that. You're like they have like a land with lore and culture. You're right. There's like a culture to the town in King's Quest V, and there's arguably probably a culture for each of the little islands that you go to in 6. Yeah, and 4 would belong in perhaps like the What a Day adventures, because that is almost like a 24-hour period of time. There's the day and the night cycle, and then the game's over. 4 is so contained.
4 is, and there's more and more emotional investment to me. There's more like there's like sacrifice and destiny especially in the 6th one. I think like the 5th one leans more maybe into family loyalty and stuff, but I think even the 4th one are way more goal oriented games. Get this, do this. Not like so much why. It's just like fetch quests and things. But then like there's this emotional weight and this character development that happens in the 5th and 6th game that makes it more of a fantasy. But I mean, if you look at fantasy, you can say, well, I guess fantasy is just a fantasy land. King's Quest 4 has a unicorn. Like there's bears alive in the 3rd one, things like that. Like, I get it. They are all fantasy, but I think the key here is fantasy adventures, like putting it all together.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you've got it. By Jove, by the end of this episode, we figured it out. Anna has. I think what you said is spot on, that it's the more goal-oriented, the less adventurous it feels.
I agree.
And maybe that can explain why sometimes even if you're going to lots of different lands, like when I said earlier, the more places you go to doesn't necessarily mean it's more adventurous, and that could be the case where these games heavily goal oriented, so it doesn't matter how many different places you're going, it still doesn't really feel adventurous because you're so like checking things off a list, or which isn't a fair way to put it, because King's Quest 4 is like my favorite King's Quest, but it, you know, it's a good goal oriented. But still, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think it's the less goal oriented it feels, the more adventurous it is. Something
It's like
that.
even the seventh one. The seventh one is definitely fantasy, but it's like super Disney. It's very lighthearted and cartoonish, and it doesn't take me to the same place that the fifth and sixth one do that way.
Right. Cool. Okay, I'm glad
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
think
we
we've
did.
got that.
Yeah, I'm glad we went nerdily deep into that just to come out with that one little nugget there. So okay, King's Quest 5 or 6 versus Fate of Atlantis. That's our billing. I'm not committing to 5 or 6. I'm not sure. I pick 5, but it's I kind of feel like it might be 6, and I just want it to be 5. But whatever. Do you have any for this category?
Yeah, and it fits with your next one actually, because I brought with me Conquest of Camelot, and you've got Conquest of the Longbow.
Right.
So I mean, I'll mention Conquest of Camelot first, but it is very much a fantasy adventure because you're right in the realm of King Arthur's court, and all of that, and it's like this is the real mythical reality. You've got stones that ask you riddles. You're literally King Arthur, and you're on a spiritual and literal quest for the Holy Grail. So it's based deep in legend. You've got divine visions. I think there's ancient god supernatural encounters. So I mean it's blending real history, but it's putting in magic. So what else? There's Merlin. There's Lady of the Lake. I'm looking at the back of the box and trying to get more hints from it here. But it's, it's moral, right? There's spiritual trials and it's got a really cool fairy tale tone, but it's a little bit more serious. So I would say it's very much a fantasy adventure, which leads into, the legend of Robin Hood, which is very, very much, you've got dreams that have prophecy in them and mystical forest adventures and ruins and all that. Not ruins, but runes. A gem you can put in a beer so that somebody doesn't get drunk.
There almost could have been a category for like a week in the life of adventures, because Conquest of the Longbow, I don't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it fits here for some reason, even though it is, it's closer to fantasy than anything else on our thingy, but it almost doesn't feel like it fits. It has that, it's a completed cycle. Like at the end of the week, like, it feels like that you've been on an adventure. Gabriel Knight also didn't fit into where we had it necessarily, and that's another, at least Gabriel Knight 1 is another like week in the life of sort of vibe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, I have other choices, but I still stand by Conquest of Camelot is very adventure. Very fantasy, very adventure, but a little straight edge,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also harder to feel more adventurous in the parser, just in the earlier games in general. Like as the games matured and got longer and more complex, the more they lent themselves to this grand sense of adventure.
But your next choice, I mean, I have one more as well, but your next choice is very much adventure-y, fantasy adventure.
Yes, Loom. Loom is maybe quintessential fantasy adventure. I think that's even in like the tagline, right? A fantasy adventure by Brian Moriarty. Yeah. So that's it. I'm just going to say Loom.
There's geese and there's
geese,
threads and there's magical spells.
You got your looms. There's a stick, a very fancy stick that you carry
Magic
with you.
is like, it's an art form. Magic, it's not even a power. It's like a learned art form passed down through generations. It's a really cool, I don't know. It's a different kind of a game.
You get a young boy killed.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, blood is on your hands by the end of this, so...
Well, it's because Bobbin's not even a warrior or anything. He's not like he's a reluctant kind of a figure. He's been pulled into something that's way bigger than himself. So
the reluctant hero, right?
He's so much. He just his skills other than spells is that he has to observe and have empathy. He has to like understand what's going on. it's a heavy fantasy, and it's, you know, deep even into the psyche of Bobbin himself, the journey of what happens in this short little game.
Wow, thank you for saying words on Loom. That was far better than I could have done.
I just played it not that long ago, so it's, you know, we did that episode, didn't we? Or I just played it for no reason. Did we even do an episode about it?
We probably did. It sounds
have.
like us to have done an episode on it.
I don't think we did finish. No, I don't think we did.
Really?
Did we?
Yeah,
No,
we did.
No, we did. We did. Yeah, we did. Right after we did the dig, we did Loom.
Okay. Right. That's right. It was right after that. Yeah. Okay. Phew. Okay. So last one. Bring us home.
Okay, hang on. I have to pull out the box because, as per tradition, the last one on my list is Sanitarium. It's not traditional, but it is in fantasy. Now, I mean, okay, granted, it's like a psychological fantasy that's super dark and super surreal, and there's not like elves and wizards and stuff like that, but it is definitely it's a fragmented fantasy. Because it's like everything in the game is essentially symbolic, right? But I don't know. It's like it's a personal mythology of the guy who it's all based on. It's like it's his own fantasy world. So he's dealing with fantasies, but of like his family and his identity and mental illness and all this dark stuff, and each chapter in the game, because it's in separate areas, they kind of all feel like they're their own standalone fantasy fable, like all on their own. So that's, I mean, if you look at fantasy being a tradition of self-contained magical realms, if you put it under that heading, much like a road trip adventure, I would say you're definitely a hero. You just don't understand how or why you're a hero in this fantasy realm.
Right. You know, I'm regretting now. I had a category with like mystical occult adventures that I erased because I was trying to find a spot for Gabriel Knight. This would have fit that perfectly because there is like a whole nother branch. But I mean, you got it on a technicality. It is a fantasy. Just because I have it framed as running around in the forest with a big knife, I think they're called swords, doesn't mean that it's not a fantasy, because it's literally...
It's like, how do I say? It's meaning through metaphor. So like the fantasy is through like the children representing that he has an innocence lost, or like the sci-fi kind of elements in the later were like metaphors for his own alienation, say the alien planet, or his own memories. So I would call it like a dark fantasy where like the whole world mirrors the soul of your guy. What is his name? Max. That's the game.
Right. It is like abstracted philosophical fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. So not your typical running around the forest kind of fantasy, but I could see if there was a category, this would fit well with Gabriel Knight for those very reasons it's a little sketchy in this particular, but I had to put it in because to me it is a fantasy-like fantastical adventure on great proportions.
Here. Yeah. Okay. This was good. I had fun.
I had fun too. Well, good. Do you have anything you need to say about adventure games before I say other things?
No, I've got it out of my system. I'll be good for the next week and a half, and then we'll have to do something like this again.
All right. Well, then, thank you. I know we talked to you guys at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to talk to you guys now. It is the reason we are here. Thank you so much to our Patreoners for really, truly believing in us, especially those in the True Believer tier, although all of you are absolutely awesome. And that's Brian Chapman, Christopher, Gareth, Jay Holmes, because your last name's there, but I know your first name's Jay, right? Mark, Mick, and Tim and Yanis, thank you. It means the world. And hey, if you listen to this episode, you'll know that maybe we're going to give you some stuff to do. Throw a poll down and give you a reason to
lay
be
down
there
some
outside
poll.
of listening.
Yeah,
to
thanks,
us.
guys. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to make that sound so penisy. Yeah, but no, thank you. She gave Anna gave so many thank yous. I got to get some thank yous in too. So there's 3
You're
or 4.
getting jealous now. I
Yeah.
want to thank you also to them. Okay. That's good. So also, I don't know if you've heard, it's going to be linked underneath the episode, but there's now Phantom Fellows pins and magnets by Canvas Quest Tom. So you can go onto his Etsy and check that out and get an Oliver or an Engelbert. Well, get Oliver and Engelbert. So that would be awesome. Go ahead and do that.
Well, there's also,
Outs-
Anna did a playthrough with Daniel from Conversations with Curtis of, I almost fucked it up. It's not Alone in the Dark. It's Seventh Guest, right?
Yeah.
Of Seventh Guest. They're both the same to me. They did a 2-part playthrough on that, and it's super fun. So if you want to watch Anna frustrate Daniel while trying to solve logic puzzles, and I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, they'll be linked in the description below. And then Anna and I both played Return to Monkey Island with them too, which was a good time. So that's all down there.
Exactly. And outside of that, say hi. We're on Twitter at CGG Podcast or at the Phantom Fellows. We're on Blue Sky. Send us your words. Mail at CGG Podcast. Join us on Facebook. We're a page. We are a group. We're also on Instagram. And we're on YouTube. I have run out of words.
Don't do a murder! You're a good boy, Django. You're a good boy. Oh, don't get up. Yeah, don't. You just stay right there, buddy. There's nothing. This kind of, Anna's gonna be back in a second. This isn't gonna go anywhere. This is just you're a good boy.